Multiple outlets are reporting that San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy has agreed to a 5-year, $265 million extension with $181 million in total guarantees.
All
So this
right.
breaks down to Brock Purdy making $53 million annually.
Wow. I think he can move out now. I think he can move out now.
I think he could do a lot of things now. But this is what you're going to hear about Brock Purdy in this 49ers deal. And it is not lost on me or Monty. Boy, wouldn't Rich Davis like to be in this chair
absolutely.
right now. Like, think about that.
Oh, he's probably mad.
They were in earlier today for a DP show, so that's where Cavino and Rich are today. But if Rich Davis is here, you know what?
We should call him.
Yeah, let's get Rich Davis. We'll talk about it. Bo, can you track Rich down to talk about this deal? Let's put him on his own show. But this is the conversation with Purdy. This will not go away. This never will. He was always going to be a $50 million quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Whether you thought he was good enough or not doesn't matter because you weren't going to get him at the discount. So the 49ers just had to decide, are we going to pay him $50 million or are we going to start to play this game throughout his years of franchise tags and whatever it is? They seem very willing to pay him that money. And now if you pay him now, you obviously don't have to wait down the line where it could even be more. But $53 million is right where Jared Goff is. It's below Jordan Love. It's below Trevor Lawrence. I think it's an actual pretty good sweet spot for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear what the 49er fans are thinking. You know, Brandon, who also one of our editors, he's a 49ers fan, and I think he is not going to be a fan of this deal. But like you said, it's like he wasn't going to take less. What did you want him to take? With what he's done, I think the 49ers did the right thing of let's just get this done and move on.
Yes.
Because the longer you stretch this out, it does nothing. At least now, you guys can focus on other things. You have your quarterback for the next couple of years. Focus on other things and get back into it.
Here's the argument about Purdy where I think sometimes, Monty, people get into real arguments and fake arguments. And the real argument was he was going to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fake arguments are, well, he should only be making $35 million a year. That's not realistic.
And that's what people were saying, though.
Sure.
That was the argument. That's the number I would hear a lot. Under 40.
And that it's just not realistic. He is not taking a Sam Darnold sort of deal. He's not bounced around in the NFL.
Nope.
He also doesn't have Sam Darnold rookie money, which is neither here nor there. But if you're getting $35 million a year, that's about what you're getting at that point. And they're just not going to do that deal. It's not going to happen. So that's not realistic. That's not realistic of saying they should have never given him that money. If you wanted to move on from Brock Purdy, that's totally fine.
Yes.
Now there is going to be the conversation of is he worth it or is he not worth the $53 million? That will not go away.
Nope.
And if you think that you're a 49ers fan with a half glass empty, like you mentioned Brandon here at Fox Sports Radio or others, he is going to have to play 3 levels above what he has to reach that money. And realistically, because of how this team has taken shape, Deebo Samuel's no longer there. Christian McCaffrey, again, is getting older. There was a purge this offseason. You're making $53 million. Now it is on you. So in other times when Brock Purdy was under that microscope, and he was for the last year or two, of does he elevate this team? How do you do when Brandon Ayuk is out? How do you do when Christian McCaffrey is hurt? Where does the quarterback take us? Now he has to do it. Back then, maybe it's, this wasn't part of our plan. This isn't how we've done. Now this is your plan. You are all in on Brock Purdy. Not all in of $60 million worth, but enough where you're willing to pay him $53 million. So now Brock Purdy needs to raise his game to levels 2 and 3.
And we won't have those answers for a bit, right? We're going to see how he performs. But, yes, he is going to have to deliver or else there's going to be a lot of criticism. But I always got the vibe that the 49ers liked him and they didn't want to go away from him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that they kind of talked to others and got the idea, like, if we let him go, someone is going to swoop him up so fast. And so they probably thought, let's just do it now, which I think was the right decision. Get it done. If you liked him so much, get it done so you can focus on other things. But, yes, now I know he no longer is Mr. Irrelevant, but now, like you said, he is going to have to deliver with weapons that maybe weren't as good of weapons at one point.
They could have played a sort of Kirk Cousins game with him and placed the franchise tag on him, and then you're paying him top 5 money. But I don't know how you are with vehicles, but what I've always felt with this is get the car you want.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because you're already in for X amount.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you should be buying a car that's twice the amount of your budget. But if it's a little more, and I'm not trying to be Dave Ramsey here. This is the anti-Dave Ramsey. But if you want a car that's a little bit more that you'll be happy with,
do it.
Than the one that you are sitting there saying, driving to work every day and being like, I hate this piece of crap. I hate work.
Thinking of the other car the entire time that
Yes.
you could have got.
Yes. When you're already in for X amount and Y is just a little bit more,
Yep.
I feel that's the way with the 49ers, where they just loved Brock Purdy enough. They didn't want to play the franchise tag game. They didn't want to get in a situation where they're tagging him year and year, and there's animosity between the two sides. I truly believe and this shows it, and their actions throughout this, not only this process, but the entire process that he's been on the team of taking over and being that guy, shows that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are in on Brock Purdy, and this this confirms it. So for them, it isn't worth paying somebody else $37 million. It wasn't worth them to be like, you know what? Yeah, we'll go in a different direction. We'll give that quarterback a Sam Darnold deal because we like Purdy so much. We'll pay the extra 25, 30% that it's going to cost. So they're maybe in that case 40, 50%. But they're fine with it. And there's already going to be a cost. Now the deal is done, Monty. And now allow all the other quarterbacks to top Brock Purdy's salary.
And Brock Purdy, in a short time, has delivered for them. It's not they believe in him. They already saw that in big moments, he can step up to the plate and deliver for them. But yes, now the expectation has gone higher, and he is going to be under a microscope because it's the 49ers. And I think the fan base, every time I would hear from the fan base, they're very split on Brock Purdy. It wasn't one way. It was a lot of split every time I heard them discussing it.
I understand why. I also understand that this is a franchise that has quarterbacks of where a lot of the fan base outside of the Bay Area came. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jeff Garcia played good quarterback for them for a while. Colin Kaepernick led them to a Super Bowl. Quarterback playing the San Francisco 49ers go hand in hand. When Jimmy Garoppolo was there, people forget when Jimmy Garoppolo was brought over from New England, the 49ers were awful. And then Jimmy goes and wins these final games, and all of a sudden then he's the next. It took an overthrow of Emmanuel Sanders in a Super Bowl for people to be like, all right, is he really our guy? Is he really our guy? And now Brock Purdy is going to be dealing with those same sort of things. I think he already has been.
He has been.
People were critical of Brock Purdy in the overtime of Super Bowl 58 in missing, I believe it was Brandon Ayuk over the middle on a play that was in the red zone in overtime where they ended up having to kick a field goal, and then Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs ultimately win it. But they're at that point, people are saying, see, Mahomes makes that play, Brock Purdy doesn't. All of that is fine. Now, though, for Brock Purdy, now is where I think all of that is legit. Brock Purdy played the role that he needed to play, but now he's in a different tax bracket. And with that, your game is under the microscope even that much more.
And quickly, just looking at some of the comments, I'm telling you, it's such a split. Brock Purdy deserves more. His agent robbed the 49ers. Literally, it is such a split feeling as to whether Brock Purdy deserved this or not.
And I think he did.
And I think and also, who else are you going to get?
That goes back to the point of there was talk of Sam Darnold possibly being an option because of the year that he spent there. Then he goes to Minnesota and thrives. Minnesota says, we're going to stick with J.J. McCarthy. Hey, what about the rumor? I don't think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch ever entertained it.
I don't think so either.
And I'll also say something about this. When you're dealing with the quarterback position in the NFL, it is not like the other positions in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I know that teams may not love it or players may not love it if someone is handed a job. But there's the flip side of that is you want your quarterback to be the leader of the team. Now when you're seeing guys on the offense like a Deebo Samuel be moved out, Brandon Ayuk coming back off of a knee injury, he was on the trade block even after signing that sort of deal. Trent Williams is going to move on at some point. So will Christian McCaffrey. Now is the time for Brock Purdy to be that guy, to be that leader. And I believe that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have always felt that he is that guy. And now they need him to be that guy. I don't think that they ever wavered on Purdy. And these numbers show it. I don't think it's a bad deal, Monty. Honestly, I don't.
I don't think so either. And I'm with you. It's kind of like now you put this to this. Now you put this down. You put it to the side, whatever. And Brock Purdy doesn't have to worry about it and can just step into the leadership role. The conversations are over. There's nothing to discuss. You're here.
He is the leader.
You are the leader. You're here for the next 5 years. Thank you. Let's go win a Super Bowl.
He should change his number to 53 for the average annual salary that he's going to make to remind everyone that is who he is. Did DeMarco Bowman wear number 53? I think he might have. Maybe somebody else now has 53 for the 49ers. But point is, it's now his team.
The fact that you even kind of know that is impressive.
And again, you're in for X amount.
Right.
The why that you paid for Brock Purdy shouldn't be the reason why you're crying about this deal.
No.
And that's what I think we do in these situations. But now it's up to Brock Purdy to carry the 49ers back to the postseason. She is Monse Bolanos. I'm Dan Beyer. We are in for Covino and Rich. No luck on Rich. Rich is MIA, Bo Benson. What's an ETA? Do we have any
Rich
info?
just texted me, so do you want to take Rich now, or do you want me to tell him to call?
Yeah, let's bring him on
okay,
now.
let me get him on. And,
because
you
this
guys
is
vamp.
his show. And I
It's
do
his
feel,
show.
I mean, he is the Rich of Covino and Rich.
Right.
When Ornberger,
Are you sure about that?
And when Ornberger hangs out with us and it's Rich, I'm like, well, he kind of just takes the role of Rich because he is there and it's Covino and Rich, a different Rich. But
when it's you and I, you're Rich and I'm Covino?
yeah, I think you're Rich because
Am
you're
I
in Rich's
Rich?
chair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I was because Covino is a Latino, so I was like, I'll take Covino.
No, that could fit as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Rich and I are kind of dorky in our football love as well. But I think that it would be unfair to make Rich Davis wait until Monday to talk about this deal. As you were in for Dan Patrick earlier today, Rich Davis joins his own show on Fox Sports Radio of Covino and Rich. We felt no better person to call to get the reaction on this Brock Purdy 49ers deal than the host of this show, Rich Davis. Welcome into your own show. What do you think about this deal?
You know, it's funny. Thank God it's the Brock Purdy deal. You know, when you take a nap, it's up early for Dan Patrick. My phone had like 100 messages. I'm like, oh, my God, who died? And I'm like, all right, no. Brock Purdy, I just saw it as I was looking, as you guys called. And let me tell you, I don't love it or hate it. I wish I had more of a solid opinion. But I think I heard Monty say, listen, it's something you don't have to worry about now for a while if you're a Niners fan. And maybe the market will catch up where it doesn't look like a bad deal. But as of right now, I really wanted it to be in the 40s. But then again, Brock Purdy played a couple good years as a 49er for like a bag of peanuts. So I don't know. Maybe it's a little retro there, right?
So Deshaun Watson makes $46 million a year. Okay. And we've saw like how awful that is. And if you're Brock Purdy, like you're saying, I'm not making less than Deshaun Watson.
Absolutely.
Like that is not going to be the case. And that's been my point, Rich, is the 49ers were already in for X amount, unless they wanted somebody else to be their quarterback. And I never thought that Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch ever wavered from Brock Purdy. So if they have to pay a little extra tax because of their belief, then they're going to do it. But right now, and just to give you the names that I've got in front of me on this computer screen that you don't, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua all make more than Brock Purdy on an annual basis. And I don't think that's a bad deal.
When you say that, I feel better about it. And the reality is, my only holdup would be if the Niners didn't give him that amount of money. I wonder if anyone else would have given Brock Purdy that money. Like, I really don't know. Like, the Giants have, 4 quarterbacks there. The Titans have drafted their guy. Like, who was ready to be like, all right, Niners, if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it. That's my only thought. But it seems like they're doing right by him. So, maybe he wins one. Let's hope.
Not to put you on the spot, Rich, but what is it that makes you feel like you wish it was in the 40s? What is there something specific about him that you're just like, I just don't know if I trust this part of his game? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but why?
No. I like Brock Purdy a lot, and and guys like Gottlieb and other people all along were just not believers. I was like, listen, he's way better. I watch him week in and week out. I'm a fan of what Brock Purdy does. I just feel like that top tier money is reserved for the Josh Allens and Mahomes of the world. And I know when you overpay for quarterback, we've noticed that, that's when teams have to take a little step back. Buffalo is the anomaly where they seem to, go through something and they ended up in the AFC Championship game. I just hope the 49ers didn't have to shed too much to make this happen. But then again, the NFC West isn't that strong, so maybe they find a way no matter what anyway.
And here's the reference point: is Purdy is going to be entering the final year of his deal. The franchise tag next year would have been about $46 million. But if you pay him $46 million, there's not the flexibility that you can do with the contract in that scenario. And that's right at the Deshaun Watson number. And so for me, like, if you wanted to save $7 million, then where are you saving it?
Right.
In terms of, like, where are you putting it elsewhere? And to me, I just said, if you like that car better than that other car, pay a little bit more for it. And I feel that's what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan decided in this situation. They just like Brock Purdy more,
right.
and that's what they want to drive to work.
Hey, you know what? Covino drove down to San Diego. You see, like the interior of one car more than the other. So there you go. It's John Lynch is Steve Covino. There you go.
Well, now your Brock Purdy dilemma and headache is now solved. He'll be a 49er for a long time, making $53 million a year. What a way to start a weekend.
I could safely buy a jersey now, right? I mean, I can look at that way.
Yes, you can. Rich, have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, later, guys.
All right, Rich Davis, noted
Rich
49ers fan. Yeah, of Covino and Rich here on Fox Sports Radio. She is Monse Bolanos. I'm Dan Beyer. It's funny. Rich falls into that Brandon group that you talk of.
Yes.
But people are so hung up on the number.
Yep.
But
when you just listed those quarterbacks that make more than him, that's all you need to hear.
And there's going to be another quarterback that now is going to put their stats to Brock Purdy's. They'll make $53.2 million or $54 million. You know what this ultimately does? This ultimately makes Dak Prescott's deal just look even more ridiculous at $60 million a year.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
For being 32 years old. Like, when you're breaking down the yearly salaries of this, which I think is the best way to look at this, that's how you rank it. Like, there's such a gap. There's a $5 million gap between Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, who are at $55 million, and Dak Prescott, who's at $60 million.
All right,
and the
Dak.
49ers are perfectly content with trying to build a team around Brock Purdy, but still pay him $53 million. The Packers are the same way with Jordan Love. He's also at $55 million per year. Yeah, it's crazy. And Brock Purdy gets paid, and the Cowboys look bad. What else is new?